Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Roundtable with a tired but gratefully exhausted Robert Bannon. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Thursday. I feel like we haven't been here in a long time because last Thursday I wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be in the United Kingdom. My dad got sick, and he was really sick, and it was very scary for a little bit of time. A lot of you reached out. Some of you reached out about my dad and checked in on me. He's in rehab, so he's not in the hospital anymore. But it was pretty scary and very touch and go for a little while. So I'm very grateful for all of the love and support. Some of you had seen other comments or people asking me about it, and you've reached out. So for my family and for me, I send lots of love and appreciation to you all. Thank you for the love and support you sent. I've been a little distant from some social media and stuff because we've been just in a whole funky mess. So I have my dad's dog, who's so cute. There's Clarence. So Clarence is named after the angel in It's a Wonderful Life. He's right here. He's also a devil. No, and look at him, though. He's beautiful. He's my little monster, and he drives me insane. So, Dad, get well soon because you need to come get your dog. Take your dog. No, he's fine, and it's been good. Hi, Abby Thompson is here, and she will be joining us with Nina West. So be ready. Happy Thursday. We're back. It's Thursday. I know. I'm sorry I missed you all for the past couple of Thursdays when I wasn't supposed to be here, but then it ended up being for the best because then I got to go take care of him. So all works out. All's well that ends well. But it was a wild week. So thank you all for your love and support and your kind words, because they don't go unnoticed, and they mean a lot to me for sure. Alrighty, so what do we have in store for us this week? We have a big old week in review because we've been gone for longer than a week. We've been gone for moments. Are you ready to have a week in review with me? Well, here it goes. How do we work this show? So last week, I want to just say a big shout out and a big thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Chanel. Tomorrow may be the first day we get to see him. We haven't been able to see him. We haven't been allowed to go. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get to see his face. A big shout out and a big thank you before we get started to my friends over at Chicago the Musical. If you want to see Chicago the Musical, it's celebrating its 25th year of the revival. It's at the Ambassador Theater. I went on Friday night. It was so wonderful to be able to go back to an old friend. You know the music, you know the songs, you know all of the iconic choreography. That's Fosse, that's Anne Ranking. And Lana Gordon, who plays Velma, is so fantastic. You need to check her out. And the wonderful and legendary Jennifer Holliday is in the show until July 31st only. Then Eric Bergen from Jersey Boys and from Madam Secretary is going to jump in and be Billy Flynn the month of August. So come check out Chicago the Musical. Go to get tickets at chicagomusical.com and make sure you check it out because it's definitely lives up to all of the hype and years that it's been there on the big old Broadway. Yes, Christine. Hi, everybody. Hey, Christine, greetings back to you. Also, while we're here and we're talking about all of this stuff, let me give you a shout out for another show that I saw. I saw this great show called Between the Lines. It's written, my playbill got a little smudged. It's written by Jodi Picoult. You may know Jodi Picoult. She's the amazing writer. My cousin Michelle said like that's her favorite author. So if you're somebody who's on the beach reading a Jodi Picoult, you can come see her words live and music too. Between the Lines is a new musical. It's at the Tony Kaiser Theater at Second Stage. It's really a great night for anyone who loves books. It's a great night for anybody who enjoys the music and the jokes. And our guest today, one of our great guests today, Vicki Lewis, is stealing funny in it. It also includes some Julia Murney is in it. Ariel Jacobs, who was on our other show, who's been in a lot of Disney shows on Broadway. She's in it as well. It's definitely worth a trip into the city and to see the show. So thank you to my friends over there at Polk, and thank you to my friends over there at Chicago for hooking us up and letting us check it out for the Roundtable. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Marie. It is hot. Saturday night, I will be performing in Richfield Park. It's a welcome home. It's like a hometown favorite show. It's me and Paul Simeone, and then Joe Kenny is the opener at 6:00. I'm on at 7:30, and the weather is supposed to be 97 degrees. Which leads me, welcome to the shameless plug, but it's not the plug yet. But yes, it's hot here. Let me tell you about my week. So I saw those two shows. I took care of the dog. We worried about my father. We reached out to all of my father's doctors and really kept him, together and tried to help as much as we can. It seems to be on the right road. He's a long road. He's to learn how to walk. He's got a little situation there. So I had a concert though, and I had reached out to him and I said, like, Dad, I will cancel. And then my dad was like, no, you can't see me. I'm in isolation. So I was like, he's like, go do your show. Oh, by the way, you saw this all on social media, right? Jennifer, Miss Holiday, and I have always kept in touch since she did this show. So we had a nice, really great conversation where there's more with Miss Holiday coming for her and with us. So stay tuned, everybody. You're not going to want to miss what she's got up her sleeves coming up. She's a sweetheart. So sweet. She walked to her hotel, and I'm like, you're on Broadway, and you're Jennifer Holiday. You sure you're good? Okay. So I love her. She's a sweetheart. So I drove up to Maine on Tuesday, and it's far from New Jersey. It's like 6 hours. And while I was driving, I had to take a picture of this. Do you see this Lawn and Order landscaping? Who is that? Can someone find Lawn and Order and bring them on this show? Because I was so obsessed, I literally followed them. And I got up to Maine and I performed at the historic 1980. It was built in 1897, the Opera House at Booth Bay Harbor. Kevin Kiley played piano for me. He's a local to Maine. He was wonderful and great. And all I did was eat. Like, I literally got there and ate. And the line for this Red's lobster roll was an hour and a half. And then there's a competing lobster roll place across the street that only had 5 people. Now, maybe the hour and a half is worth it, but I don't really do great at waiting, and it was 94 degrees, even in Maine. So I went across the street. I ate my little lobster roll and loved every second of those carbs and that butter and did not look back. And then I ate a salad and lobster for dinner. And then I had lobster bisque. And then I had a whole lobster the next day. When I did the show for a sold-out crowd for Broadway and Great American Songbook fans, and they were so cute, and no one knew me, and they were wonderful, and we laughed, and we joked, and they got all my crazy. I sweat my face off because it's from 1897. I have no air conditioning in there, just fans. And I literally said to them, I have been eating so much lobster that my sweat smells like the ocean. I literally was drenched. The food was so good. They make blueberry everything there. So blueberry is like the thing. Whoopie pies, blueberries. So I had blueberry ice cream. I just lived it up. It was a beautiful venue. I mean, it was a beautiful venue. It was built in, like I said, 1897. They filmed Carousel outside of it. It was a really wonderful trip. It was really nice to be there. Thanks to the presenter and the piano player on stage after the show. She reached out for me to come up and struck a deal with management and stuff, and we made it all work. They accommodated me. Thank you to the Booth Bay Harbor Inn and everybody who made last night happen. I look forward to being back in Maine. It was my first day in Maine ever. I'd never been to Maine, ever. And then the show ended, and I wrestled with like staying the night and getting up early and coming home because I had other things to do, interviews this morning and a rehearsal for Saturday. I drove home 11 till 3:30 a.m. And I just was like 10:30 till 3:30 a.m. I just was like, that's it. No traffic, no worries. Cruise control, music, live your best life, right? Speaking of, let's talk about the end of the show. And I said this story before that a grandma and grandpa came up to me after the show, and I wasn't going to do I Think He Knew because it was Great American Songbook in Broadway. We ended the show with that before an encore, and the grandma said to me that the song moved her because she has a trans granddaughter, and that the granddaughter gets picked on in school, and that she doesn't understand how people cannot love their children, and she just wants to let her granddaughter know that she's beautiful and she loves her. And we had this. She was crying, and she said, "My granddaughter told me, Mima, I'm the same person, just in a different package." So when I hear stuff like that, it makes the drive, it makes the carbs, it makes the effort, it makes the exhaustion worth it, because damn it, I'm going to just go out there and sing my song and tell my story as many times and as many places as people will let me, if it's here or if it's out on the road. So we need to show more love and compassion to one another, for sure. True. Yes, it was perfect, Marie. There was a lot of road construction, and I was like, this construction would be horrendous in the morning. So I was here. I got to sleep in my own bed, and I slept in a little bit. Way better. I would rather get in at 3:30 than wake up at 5. Speaking of my friend Marie, I I would just like to give you my shameless plug.
Cause I'm shameless.
So the shameless plug is, of course, that on Saturday. Thank you, Janelle. Everyone's welcome here, and that's really what I feel is what I'm supposed to do, right? We all are supposed to do. Love each other. My shameless plug is on Saturday. If you're in the New Jersey area, come to Grove Street and Main Street. I grew up in Richmond Park. Marie lives in Richmond Park. I have history there. I went to school there my whole life, and it's a hometown reunion show with Paul Simeon, who was my music teacher when I was in school. He's the one who taught me and encouraged me to sing. So every year, I did it last year, and we're doing it again this year. And this year, I hope is better. The set list is wild and fun and cheesy and corny and great. And I hope people will come out. I'm sure they will come on down. And like we were talking before, Christine said she already bought her tickets for October 22nd. October 22nd at Green Room 42. We're recording Rewind. We're recording it for a live album. So if you want to get your tickets in advance, quickly grab them. You can get the $5 tickets. You can get the $29 tickets. And you can come on out and get our tickets in New York. We'll be in New York. It's small. We had fun last time. We're going to do that set plus a little bit more fun and record it for a live album. Also big news, August and September, I'm recording a Christmas album. So it's a jazz Christmas album. It's going to be done with a trio. It's going to be done in a real nice vibe when you're having a glass of wine at the fireplace, or you're wrapping gifts or spending too much money. You can listen to this and hopefully enjoy it. So lots more to come. So stay with me. We have great shows all summer long. I know Janelle was funny. Alates was funny because when I posted that, she asked me, do you take a break? A break of show? No, we don't take a break. I don't even like not doing a show on Thursday. I'm now not saying no to anybody. We'll just put more videos online if we have to. We're not going anywhere. I'm not leaving. Thank you, Marie. I love cheesy and corny, and I love you, and I will be as cheesy and corny as they come, so I'm ready for all of that. Thank you, Christine. I really appreciate that. It's been the most beautiful gift, so much so, from everybody. It means the world to me, truly. All right, if you want to support our show, we are up and running. We did 14,000 views of the show we did with Antoine Hopper and Nick Walker. I hope Nick Walker's feeling better because I know he had COVID. 14,000 people watched that show once we put it up on YouTube and let it run. So your money and support helps make sure that people see the Roundtable and gets our word and message out. So thank you for all the love that you send my way. You can Venmo at Robert Bannon. You can leave a virtual tip. It's not mandatory. This show is free from my heart to yours. But the money you give supports this platform that puts it out and also advertises the show. We get that out there. Got to get that out there. We try to get that out there at the least. So, Antoine, you want to adopt Antoine Hopper? I want to adopt Antoine Hopper too. He's so fun. The reaction to him and I chatting, and his reaction to everything when he said that he felt like a white woman because he went to the Tonys and met Michelle Obama. I didn't even hear it the first time. If you watch it, I have no reaction. He had to repeat it because we're both talking. They're a trip. He was a trip. Well, I know you don't love this, but the interviews today are taped when I was in Palm Springs. I got in Joshua Tree. I got to talk to Nina West, and then yesterday in Maine, I got to talk to Vicki Lewis. Why couldn't they be here live? Well, Nina West is on stage in 45 minutes in Hairspray, and Vicki Lewis is on stage in 45 minutes in Between the Lines. So they were not available to be here live, but I didn't want to pass them up because they're stars. They're like stars. So Nina West, I'm going to show you a little video of her doing the alphabet, and then Nina West is here. I was in Joshua Tree, and we had a special guest from the UK. So take a peek at my good friend, Abby makes an appearance. Here you go. It's a good one. All right, everybody. Listen, if you Google the most Googled queen that there possibly is with over 7.8 billion searches, our next guest has been on stages and screens, been Miss Congeniality, been a chart-topping, released albums, books, everything. I'm so honored to have Andrew Levitt here. You may know him as Nina West, and we're welcoming him to the Roundtable. Andrew!
Hello, how are you? I'm so excited to be at the Roundtable.
You're here there. Yay! We're so excited to have you.
Thank you.
I am fascinated by your career because you have taken your platform and rocket shipped it to, I think, everything from Blue's Clues to Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy.
It is. We of course we have to talk. You're from, I believe, Ohio.
I am, yeah, Columbus, Ohio.
And you started your career, and you started Nina West there, I believe, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
And how was that journey? How did you start? What was it like to be the first day you decided I'm gonna do drag?
I mean, it was I like almost everything in my life. It kind of was accidental. I did drag for the first time my senior year of college. So I went to Denison University, and we had and I graduated in 2001. So the time period is very, I think, important because we had a really thoughtful, progressive student by the names of James Smith who was organizing. He ran the LGBTQI plus student organization, and many years before I got there, 4 years, 4 or 5 years before I got there, and was organizing these drag shows and would bring these queens in. Denison's located right outside of Columbus, Ohio, in a small little community called Granville, and would bring in all of these queens from Columbus, Ohio, to entertain the students during usually like finals week or something. And so when I went to Denison, not knowing of that rich tradition, I just became really actively involved in the student organization. It was called Outlook. It's still called Outlook. And I then ran for student. This is such a weird story, but then I became president of the organization like James had before my time. And so I inherited booking drag shows as a part of a student activities event. And that's how I kind of found the world of drag. And I just had, haphazardly, my friend Justin Garrison in college had said, oh, why don't we our senior year, why don't we do the drag show just as, like for fun? And I was like, sure, why not? I'll do drag once. And then that's the night Nina West was born. It was like March 27th, 2001 or something like that. I'm not to be precise, but, and so that's how it all started. And I moved to Columbus after I graduated, and I had no intention of really doing drag. And I met Virginia West, who's now my drag mother, in 2001. And she had said, why don't you just come do this drag contest at the bar? If you win, it's $150. And I was like, sure. I'm 21 years old. I could take the money. Why not? And so that's how I did it. And then it just kind of was like, then Virginia asked me to do another gig, and I did another gig and did backup dance for him. And just like, it just all became accidental. I never intended to be like a full-time drag queen. I wanted to be a full-time entertainer, but I never thought I could do it with drag. And so here I am now 21 years later, at really in this incredible career that has allowed me the opportunity to do what I'm doing now, which is Hairspray. And I've traveled the world because of Nina, and I have met just incredible people and heard incredible stories and shared experiences with people all over the world who are LGBTQI plus or are allies, or people who are coming at it having never been exposed to it. And it's all been so remarkable. Again, purely accidental. I just never thought this would happen, and here I am. It's really incredible.
I guess it's a lesson in everything. That's what's meant to be is meant to be, and what's yours is yours. Look, we could have this is you of course people are introduced to you through RuPaul's Drag Race, and just
There she is.
gorgeous. I can only imagine the amount of makeup and wigs you've owned. And
The work it takes to get her there.
not easy. You said you always were a performer. I know that you have put out numerous different if it's a comedy album, if it's a children's album, is music and musical theater always been a passion of yours throughout your life?
Yeah, I was I grew up in a house where music was always played. My dad, my mom, but my dad really loves music, and he would always, and still to this day, always has like something playing. And so my first kind of exposure to cast recordings was my dad playing records. And even my grandparents were just so constant in this kind of world of music and art. So I had a really strong, true, deep appreciation for the arts at a very, very young age. And I remember seeing the first show I saw, I think, was Cats, Now and Forever. And on National Tour of Cats in Cleveland, Ohio. And it changed my life because I just thought I could do that. That could be me. And granted, I'm not like that kind of dancer. But the idea of the performer was born. And I started to do like church, like nativities, and then I somehow found my way to community theater and high school productions that all informed me. I think it's so important for my personal story to talk about, not only hearing all these cast recordings and playing with these records, and but like that influence of both Disney and the Muppets kind of came in there as well. And that was something that really, that was something my mom really loved, were these old animated Disney films. And you'd hear like Cinderella, and you'd hear her, singing the Sing Sweet Nightingale. And you would have, just the idea of music, the musicality of storytelling was so connected to who I was, and I just fell in love with it.
I completely relate. I don't do a show or have any room in my house that doesn't have Kermit the Frog hidden in it somewhere.
Right.
Because for me, that was the first, he sits on that rock with that little banjo and sings the Rainbow Connection. And I'm like, I just feel everything this little green frog is saying.
It's true. It's really true.
Well, Andrew, that's what's hard about musical theater. People think you go see a show and you think it's easy, but you have blocking, you have choreography, you have lines, you have singing, you're in your costume, you're trying to emote a story. What was the process like for you to be in Hairspray, and how long have you? I know you're touring. You're literally everywhere. Can you tell us a little bit about sometimes doing this show, getting on a bus, going to the next city, taking all your stuff with you? How did that all come about, and how long have you been doing it?
So I have been with Hairspray since October. We started rehearsals in October in New York, and then we opened in November in San Diego. The journey, like I said at the top of the conversation, is that Nina West really kind of opened the door for me, and I did the story. The truth of the story is that I did Harvey Firestein as one of my characters for Snatch Game on RuPaul's Drag Race, and I did two characters. I did Harvey and I did Joanne Worley, and Jerry Mitchell happened to watch the episode. Jerry Mitchell, I'm sure anyone who's watching this knows who Jerry Mitchell is, but Jerry Mitchell is Tony Award-winning Broadway director of shows like Kinky Boots, Pretty Woman, choreographer and director of Legally Blonde, choreographed Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and Hairspray, among many other things. And he's a legend. And he watched the episode, and he slid into my DMs, and then just told me what a great job I had done. And then I got a phone call from a New York area code, and happened to be Jerry Mitchell. This was like in, I think, July or August of 2019, and it was Jerry Mitchell, and he said, Nina West, it's Broadway's Jerry Mitchell. I was like, what? And he did say Broadway's Jerry Mitchell. I like to bring that up now to him from time to time. Like, you're Broadway's Jerry Mitchell. He's clearly Broadway's Jerry Mitchell. He used it as like almost like a moniker or sobriquet. And So he said, I had a dream. I had a dream last night that you should be Edna. More on that later. I'll talk to you later. I've got to go. I mean, it was a very truncated, very short conversation. And then many months went by and I never heard from Jerry Mitchell. And I was like, what a jerk. He never called me back. Or do I send an email? What do I do? How do I follow up with this? And then I got a call in December of 2019. And he said, Andrew, we're gonna go forward. We're relaunching Hairspray and we're gonna do a national tour with it. And we really want you to be our Edna. Will you consider this? And will you come to New York and meet with Jack O'Brien? Jack O'Brien is a theater legend. For those of you who don't know, Jack O'Brien is like as legendary as theater legends get is Jack O'Brien. Jack O'Brien has directed many, many things, has an expertise in Shakespeare. Won his Tony for Hairspray, did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Is just a remarkable, remarkable man. And so I went to New York and I met with Jack and Jerry, which to even say these words is crazy. And I read through the scenes and I sang through the songs, and I met the entire original creative team, and it kind of did a work session. They wanted to make sure that I was the right fit after, Jerry had this vision. And I walked out of the room and I was walking down, we were at the 42nd Street Studios, and I'll never forget it. I had walked down to 39th, so about 2 blocks. And my agent called me and said, congratulations, you booked it. And I mean, it was that fast. And like simultaneously, I had a text from Jerry that said, welcome to the family. And so it was just so very, very, very surreal. But I want to talk about, I think what's really important is like, it wasn't like everything, opportunity meets preparedness, right? Like, I was very like, if this had happened earlier in my career, I wouldn't have been ready for it. I couldn't have handled it. Being on Now I Know This, being on the road in a national tour is really, really hard. It requires stamina, dedication, diligence, reservation, like especially during the time of COVID. And I've learned a lot about myself, but I also, from touring with RuPaul's Drag Race and support of Drag Race around the world and doing these shows and around the country, and touring prior to that, and having an 18-year drag career prior to Drag Race, all of these experiences kind of informed me and allowed me to understand how to, I think, approach this in a really professional way to make sure that I was not burning out. And that's hard on the road, right? And but I also was ready for this in the sense that my talent met my ability, I think. Like, not only was I able to do it, but I was able to I'm mature in my ability. I'm mature in my talent. It's not, I don't know if I'm saying it the right way, but my expression is that, like, I was ready I wouldn't have been ready for this. As much as I wanted this, I wouldn't have been ready for it 20 years ago. And everything I have done in my career, and like you said, so much of it has been luck. And like, I've walked into rooms that I had no idea what I was walking into, and I came out on the other side of it really well. I've also walked into rooms and had really hard experiences, and I've learned those tough lessons that it's, like, I've made mistakes and I have fumbled the ball more times than I can count. And it's not been as easy as it all sounds. And I think it's like, it sounds so easy. Oh yeah, you did this, and then you got on this reality show, and then they called you, and it's like, it actually is like, it's 20 years of defeat and doors shutting in my face, and knowing how to respond to that, to dust myself off, and to continue to try to bang on the door and walk through the room. And
it's a real lesson in my own small little world, and in your there's a lot of no's, there's a lot of jobs for no money, there's a lot of days where you're not getting paid what you're supposed to, there's a lot of sleepless nights, there's a lot of things that are supposed to happen and fall through the cracks. It's a lesson, Andrew, in your resilience and your ability to you're a fighter. We're fighters. Our artists are fighters.
I think what you said is actually really, really right. It also is like, it's correct. This is my, like, performance is my passion. Being on stage or even engaging in this world is a serious passion of mine. And passion does require sacrifice. Everyone's sacrifices may look different. time away from home, time away from loved ones, sacrificing personal relationships, income, right? Like you said, an opportunity. So many people are going to look at you and go, this is a great opportunity. And there's no money. I can't tell you how many times that is. I mean, or we can only, the budget is $100.
Yep.
And it's like, and I can't tell you how many times I've bought my own plane ticket to go to get myself to Los Angeles, to get to myself in a room, to be considered for an audition that doesn't happen, or drive myself 12 hours to an event where I'm not being paid anything because I love it so much, or because I love what it represents, or what it could mean for me. It's personal, it's professional, it's all these things together. And a career in this industry requires serious nurturing and dedication. And it's in finding the work-life balance is a must. But this is a career that is not for the faint of heart.
Well, you make it look. I know it's hard, and you look. And
I don't want to belabor it though, Robert. Like it's like,
no.
I mean, like, oh, poor me. No, girl,
No.
I'm living. Well, trust me, I am living my best life. I am in a beautiful hotel room overlooking this gorgeous square where I'm gonna get to perform in this city tonight for a sold-out audience.
Yes,
this is part of the dream, right? But
yes,
what comes with that? I don't want people to go, oh,
no,
easy.
It's just reality.
Yeah.
Andrew, what city are you in?
I'm in Cincinnati, so I'm an hour and a half away from home.
You're almost home.
Yeah, I'm almost home. Yeah.
Well, before we talk about your book, can I ask you one more? Can I just do one more thing about
anything? I'm with a book. Do it.
Because the book's really important, because in this time, especially with the LGBTQIA plus youth and what people are saying about drag queens and what's going on, I think it's important. I really want to talk to you about your thoughts about all of this, because you have your foundation, you do a lot of outreach and work for the community and with children. I have a resident person that watches the show every single week from Birmingham, UK, not Alabama. Yeah. And she's like the resident drag queen expert. And for months, she has said, do you know who would be a great guest? Nina West. Do you know who would be a great guest? Nina West. Do you know who would be a great guest? Nina West. And then I knew you were coming, and I said, Abby, do you want to just pop on? You have a question and she is here backstage. Abby, come out. Hi, Abby.
Hi, Abby.
Hello. Lovely to see you.
Nice to see you.
She is our resident drag. She flies to the U.S., Andrew, just to see the Queen shows. She goes.
What's the most recent show you've been to, Abby? I'm curious.
Trixie and Katya.
Trixie and Katya. I love your accent. Where did you see them? What city did you see them in? Also, I will say they're two of the best. They're two, for anyone who doesn't really know the world of drag who might be watching us. Trixie and Katya are two of my very favorite people in the entire world. They might have personas of like they're so kind, and they're so loving, and they're so nurturing, and they're also just like really badass entertainers. So anyway, come on. What city did you see them in?
Down in Atlanta.
Hotlanta.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's warm. She's welcome.
So, Abby, firstly, you are such an encyclopedia of drag knowledge. You help us out on this show all the time with amazing questions, and I know you had some questions for Andrew about Hairspray.
Yes.
I'm ready.
First question is, what would you say your favorite number to perform in Hairspray is?
Oh, for a variety of different reasons. I get to do some of the best, I think, musical theater songs ever written by Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, who are incredible men. Welcome to the 60s, I think, is such a drag moment. It's such a moment. Just like You Can't Stop the Beat in my review, and You Can't Stop the Beat is like, this is drag, and I think that's where the writers of the show, that's me! That is such a moment. I think the writers of this musical, who are all queer, I think they really tapped into the performative storytelling that even though Edna's not a drag queen, the art of drag is telling a story here. And we get to really play with the theatricality of costuming and hair and makeup, which are these tried and true elements to musical theater and theater in general. but they're also really vital elements to the storytelling in the arc of drag. So that feels like when I come out of Mr. Pinky's, the Hefty Hideaway, it feels like the most Nina moment, but it isn't, in that it's so, because that's the question, is like, what's it like to have Nina do, and it's like, how to have Nina do this character, and it's like, actually it's so much of Andrew, because I was informed by How to Walk in Heels with Nina West, and that was kind of it. The spectacular of drag and its flashy presentation, welcome to the 60s, and that the doors open and I turn around and I reveal myself to the audience, and this kind of coming out of my chrysalis is like, it's just the most magical moment. But as a musical theater person, doing Timeless to me every single night and telling that story of a woman who, the scene work before is like, she's just given up on herself. She's even had this whole reveal, and she's really trying to grab onto this new life that Tracy wants her to, and she just can't get there. And she's nurtured and she's nudged along by her incredible relationship with her husband, who won't give up on her and loves her more than he loves anything else in this world. And this love song, this vaudevillian love song that I get to perform every night to dote on a relationship and to love on a relationship that has shaped and formed me, is like, truly, I think the gift of the show for me is to do Timeless. So like everything, I love it all so much. And then You Can't Stop the Beat is like in my opinion, the best musical theater song ever written to close a show. I think, and you can mark it from 2002 on. Musicals have tried to copy the magic of You Can't Stop the Beat. And the fact that we get to do it every single night with Jerry Mitchell's choreography, and Jack O'Brien's direct, it's just like, this is what I saw at the Tonys in 2002. And I get to do it now. So it's all, that's a great question. I'm really long-winded, and I'm going to give you all the answers.
Yeah, I work into that. Andrew, what is shown through to me, I love the long-windedness. It's so much, it's less work for us. What I love so much is that you just showed how much of an actor you are. People give musical theater a bad rep all the time, that it's dancing and singing, the acting comes third. But your work on the character and to describe those moments is what, as an actor, makes me like live. Like, I could sit here and talk about the dramaturgical choices of Hairspray, and that's what makes it such more than just clap along and sing along and fun. There's a real story here about a real woman, a real daughter, a real family and community, and to do it across this country is way more powerful than just the feathers and the glitter and the wigs. It is really a time it's an important show, and it makes people clap and have fun.
Well, I think that's kind of what I think that's the surprise of Hairspray, is that people know in its outer package, they're like, this is a show all about this joy, and I'm going to go have fun. The catalog of songs in the show, they're so fun. But the show is really tightly wrapped around these through lines. Tracy doesn't feel like she belongs. Seaweed doesn't feel like he belongs. Penny doesn't feel like she belongs. Edna doesn't feel like she belongs. And for all of these different reasons. And we have these voices that guide us in our story. Motormouth Maybell, who's saying that we're fighting for these things and we're craving for our space. Tracy and her journey saying, I deserve space too. And in turn, I want to have space with you. That's what the joy of the show is surrounded by other messages of hope and joy that often are like, oh yeah, that's a great show. And now we're reminding audiences 20 years later after it came out, it's a great show with a serious heart and serious message.
I love it. Go ahead, Abby. I know you have another good question.
Yes. So, since Drag Race, you've obviously been involved in drag, musical theatre, political spheres. But what would you say, personally, is your biggest achievement to date?
Wow.
That's a good question, Abby.
Wow. Ab. Wow. I think my biggest achievement to date might be that I have not wavered in my spirit or in my intentionality of who I am. And I think that is I think that shows through in the work, and it's the reason why I'm able to do the work that I'm doing. With that, I do mean that, like, I mean, I am a queen who has been around for a very long time. I've done all of it. I have been there and I have done it. 22 years into this very challenging industry of drag, which is a microcosm of show business at large. This is not, again, it's a tough industry. And I have stuck true to the things that I really believe in. And like you said, I think my greatest accomplishment is like really sticking true to who I am. When it can be very challenging to not go, oh gosh, they're doing this, should I be doing that? Or they're having this success in this realm, should I try to do that? And what I've really found my success in by following others' examples of Bianca Del Rio, examples of Bob the Drag Queen, examples of Monet Exchange and Trixie Mattel and Katya, and I've named these individuals who are all so individualistic, who run their career based on who they are, and based on their own individual ability and talent. That was a great lesson for me. And so, you know, I happen to love working in the family space and in the children's space. I also am capable and have for many years worked in a 18 and over space as well. And I pride myself in knowing the difference in the ability to put a show together for an intended audience, and knowing that drag can be consumed in the nightlife and can also be consumed in a library and can also be consumed in a children's space. And I think that, you know, I'm proud of the fact that I'm able to define myself and have a viewing audience and fans and friends who are able to see the differences and recognize that, yeah, she's a drag queen for children, but she's also a drag queen for the LGBTQI plus community of adults as well. And I'm very proud of the work that I've done with Disney and with Nickelodeon, and I'm very, very proud.
Look at the little
Blue's Clues. I mean, like that happened because I have marked myself for who I am. You know, it was the right fit because of the work that I do. And talk about, I mean, that's a big honor. A big honor to be included with Blue's Clues, and it's a big honor to sing with Kermit the Frog. I mean, like, these just don't happen. And this Thursday, like, you'll see that I will be doing another Disney Pride special, and I get to work with Alan Menken. And like, these are not things that just happen, you know. Like, and I want to say it's because of my devotion to how I really do trust my own ability and representing myself for who I am and for the things that are important to me.
Well, that leads us to what I would love to just finish up with you and talk about one last project. You know, when you were on Drag Race, you come out, you put out a Drag is Magic album, right? Which is an album for children, and which you could stream. It's streaming everywhere. You can listen to it and listen to it with your family. And you have a new book that's coming out this fall. And in this time where in real life, when I'm not talking to amazing people like you, I teach 5th grade. I have had more students this time who have come out as, you know, trans, gay, lesbians, non-binary, have struggles with their family, and they hear a lot of stuff on the news. We hear a lot of stuff about children and youth and influence. And I think, Andrew, it's so incredibly important. The work you're doing is so important. You have a new book, and the book is called The You Kind of Kind. And you can pre-order it right now. It's pre-orderable, available on Amazon and where books are sold. Can you tell us what the book's about?
Yeah. First, I want to say thank you for the work that you're doing. Thanks for being an advocate for for LGBTQIA plus youth and their allies, who often might not see themselves represented in a space. We're in really challenging times, and it just so happens that my book is coming out during this time period. When I started, the book process started about 3 years ago, right actually about a month after I released Drag is Magic. The conversations to do the book began, and I think that was always a goal of mine. Whether or not I ever made it on Drag Race was to be a published children's author, and so to have this all happen so organically in its own timeline, right? I guess the universe provides with when hard work and dedication meet preparedness. I think like all of those things I think come together. I don't know what that adage is. I can't come to but I think that the book is another very important step, I think, in having conversations that are really important and providing space and opportunities for specifically LGBTQIA plus parents or parents of LGBTQIA plus children to have not only with each other, but to have outward conversations with other people. This book is about kindness, and it's about love, and it's about seeing yourself represented in the world, the you kind of kind. And that means you yourself are your own special gift to this world. You give your kindness to the world, and in turn, the kindness will be received to you. And I like to think of it as kindness is not this. For so many years when I was growing up, now I think there's a lot of conversations centered around kindness, and I think that's really, really awesome, and I'm really proud to be a part of that conversation. But when I was growing up, conversations surrounding kindness were that you were weak, or you were not you weren't valid or worthy enough, and you had to puff out your chest, and it all falls into conversations about identity on the binary. And I think it's really important that kindness is a tool with which we can all employ, regardless of where we come from, so that we're able to access conversations with other people we may not know or we may not be like. And that's wonderful. And so the book, this is all like really big pieces and topics, but the book really is about the adventures of a character who happens to be named Nina, the little girl, who is just so excited to start her day and so excited to give her own kindness to the world, and in turn help our reader find their own kind of kind in the wild. And it's a very wonderful, I'm just very, very proud of it. It's illustrated by Hayden Evans, who's an incredible illustrator, an artist, and a friend of mine. And it's going to be published on October 25th, and it's available for pre-order right now. There are some limited signed copies available at a local bookseller. You can order online. It's at Prologue, which all this stuff is on my link tree on my Instagram, or you can order a signed copy on Barnes & Noble.
Amazing. And you can go to @NinaWest and follow and make sure you follow and say hey. You can go to Nina. You can go to the hairspraytour.com and see where they're coming in 187 cities literally around the country. And you can go to ninawest.com or go to Instagram and click the link in the bio and make sure you find out where you can pre-order your copy. Look, it's the most cute cover. It's adorable, and it is going to be something that I know a lot of people are going to feel seen. Andrew, what it was amazing the whole time you spoke, if I may say so, 21 years plus in this industry, a lifetime of a lot of people are very hardened and tough, and I'm not saying you're not tough and you're not. You're a breath of fresh air. You are kind and generous and sweet and funny as you are, and you are really city by city giving representation and love. So thank you for all that you do in your work, truly.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everything that you do and making us all so entertained and have such a wonderful time. So
and Abby, when you're back in the States and Hairspray rolls through the town, me and you are showing up.
Please?
Absolutely.
Please, Abs, please.
Come on, Abby.
Just get me a flight and I'll be there.
Done, Abby. We'll work on it. We're working on it. I'll work on it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you.
There you have it. Nina West himself, Andrew Levitt was here. Isn't Abby Abby's such a star, and now Abby was talking about, and look at the Abby fans here. Hi, Bess. Hi, Alyssa. Hi, Grace. You're all the Abby stans are here. Abby brought all her friends because Abby has a whole little fun community. She goes on like drag picnics. She does like drag. I don't know what she does, Abby. She's got a whole secret life, but Abby also has a big secret job. So, Abs, as her friend Grace calls her, and Grace obviously is a drag fan because look at right here. She's got a big job. Abby has a big job. So like Abby's going to be moving on to getting a big fancy job where she's going to be working for British Airways and American Airways. So we all need to, wish Abby well. She won't be here to be with all of the fun people anymore, but I love her so much for being a part of that. Yeah, the stands are here. Janelle, we were too. We had so much fun with the Miss West. With Andrew, who's such a wonderful person. And while there's so many attacks on drag culture and saying that drag queens shouldn't read to kids and all this bull, good for Nina. Better get out there and go out there and tell his story and tell his deal because he is doing God's work, truly. Not the other people. All right. Speaking of, let's get out of here to go to the January 6th hearings on CNN. Yes, Abs will be flying all over there for more drag shows. Look at Abs, you're getting marriage requests on the show. All right, now up next, Vicki Lewis is a superstar. She's been around for 100 shows, 100 things. She's really fun. I got to talk to her last night before she jumped in to do her new show called Between the Lines. Take a peek.
That's just the person I'm looking for.
Huh?
I'm making an audition tape for a voiceover commercial, and I need someone to read the part of the wife. Naturally, I thought of you.
You thought of me? Bill, that is so sweet.
Thank you.
How much does it pay?
Well, it's only an audition. You wouldn't be doing the commercial.
Like I said, how much does it pay?
Well, Catherine would probably do it for 50.
I'll do it for 49.
Deal.
Oh, thank you, God, for creating suckers.
Right on.
My friend Vicki Lewis in the cast of Chicago.
Okay, everybody. So we all have been watching our next performer for years in all sorts of every medium, from Broadway to theater to voiceovers to movies. And I just had the chance to see her in a brand new show that was so much fun that I hope everybody wait till you see. She does this mermaid number with two other performers that are going to knock your socks off. But I remember Vicki Lewis for the first Broadway show my parents ever took me to was Beauty and the Beast, and I was obsessed. And the second Broadway show my parents ever took me to was this. And I was obsessed. So here she is, ladies and gentlemen. Vicki Lewis is here.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you tell I'm sort of in bed, but not really?
No, can you tell that but you look gorgeous. You're gorgeous.
You're gorgeous. My hair does a really fun thing after pin curls in a wig. So you have to pin, we pin curl our hair and put it up in the wig. And you have to take little tiny strands and go boo, 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 and curl it up there. And then when you take it out, it looks pretty great for a while. And then it looks a mess.
It looks, well, I'm in a lovely.
You're in a nice bedroom or a hotel. Are you in a hotel?
I'm performing tonight in Booth Bay, Maine. So welcome to the Booth Bay Inn.
Yeah, I thought. Wow, he's got his bedroom set up like a hotel. How nifty.
Well, I was so excited to be able to chat with you. I had the chance to go and see the show. I loved it. You guys are working your faces off up there.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a wonderful show. It is funny. It is touching. It is heartwarming.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of everything. Can you tell us how this all came to be for you? And to be with it?
I was in New York. I was doing Anastasia. It was just about to end. And this was late 2019, I think. And I auditioned for this. And I actually auditioned for one character. And then while I was in the room, they were like, would you mind looking at this character? Would you mind looking at... So now it comes to fruition that I'm doing 5 characters in the show. Anyway, we did an in-house reading of the show. And then we were ready to start rehearsal on March 23rd. And on March 13th, they shut the city down. So I've been in LA until this started rehearsing. So I kind of rushed to get an apartment again and get myself out of the pod. And then we started rehearsal, and it's been amazing. Then we all got COVID.
Ugh.
And so then that set us back about 10 performances in total because there were so many of us. Then the crew got it. So, I'd be doing my fast changes and they'd be like, hi, I'm Jill. I'm new. I'd be like, hey, welcome to all my fast changes. Here's my body. Here's what, you just kind of had to lean in. I'm Debbie. I'm new today. Great. Welcome to my boobs. Oh my God. So, but it's a great, and I don't just say this, it's such a remarkable group of people. The cast is so nice and so talented, and it's a joy to work with them. It really is. And I particularly love working with Ren. And I do most of my stuff with Ren and Ariel. Yeah, and Julia. I mean, Julia and I have a fabulous time sparring. But everybody's just fantastic. Yeah, and so then we finally opened the show Monday night, last Monday. And it was emotional. Oh, look.
There's the cast of Between the Lines, and there you all are opening night, looking all stunning.
Look at Ariel's dress, by the way. Isn't that insane?
It is beautiful. You all are so beautiful.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's kind of a good-looking group.
It is a good-looking, and you all are so talented. And
oh my gosh.
The show is written by Jodi Picoult, which I mean, everybody, you have to know her. I mean, she sold 1 trillion billion copies of every book.
It seems like she's writing a book every week. And she's sitting at her computer, and she's like, and I'm like, Jodi, what are you doing? Are you taking notes? She goes, no, I'm bored, so I'm writing a book. I mean, she must write a book every week. It's just, they come out of her, and they're always hits, and they're always amazing.
And then to decide, hey, I'm going to write a musical, and it's a musical about, it's kind of a love, in my opinion, it's a love letter to fairy tales. It's a love letter to books. There's jokes. If you're a person who loves to read, if you're a person who loves musical theater, then this is for you, because it really is a love letter to those mediums. You can get your tickets at betweenthelinesmusical.com, and you can see this amazing, talented group. I'm not kidding. I think you as a mermaid, I'm trying not to give much away, because there's many moments that the show takes you on a wild journey and builds and grows. But that number knocks your socks off fantastic. And
when they put me in that number, I was like, I'm too old. There's 2 really young mermaids and me. And then we all started doing it, and I just felt like a rock star. And such a fun moment. And the costuming is insane.
The costuming throughout is beautiful. The set is beautiful.
Yes.
And you all are, and your voice, Vicky, your voice is gorgeous, amazing. The first song, when you you play 5 characters, you have lots of changes, lots of wigs, lots of costumes, lots of voices. The first song, I was like, Vicki Lewis, you better sing your face off.
It's funny. Yeah, it's fun for me because I rarely get the opportunity to sing, sort of coloratura, soprano-y stuff, rock and roll stuff. And at the end, as one of that character the end just very just simple and straightforward. It's nice for me because I get to exercise muscles that I don't normally get asked to use. So it's really fulfilling. And every night the audience just goes bananas. And we're recording an album.
Yes.
Next month. And people just need to come and see it. I hope they do, because we're all so proud of it, and it's exciting.
It's very exciting. It was a great night in theater, in the theater for sure. I know I did a little research digging up that you have only been in like 186 projects. So
Well, I'm old.
I know. You're from Ohio, and you went to the University of Cincinnati and studied musical theater. So your roots really are in, I look at you as in television and your film career, and you have a giant voiceover career, but you started in musical theater.
Yeah. I was in actually high school, and I wasn't a fun time for me. I was not popular, to say the least. And my English teacher, Roger Grooms, said, "I want you to do this play." And I was like, "What's that?" And it was Barefoot in the Park. And I didn't know. So I would go to these rehearsals each day, and I would read the stuff, and then I learned it. And then the audience came, and they were laughing. And I went backstage, and I was like, "Why are they laughing at me?" And he said, "You're very funny. They're supposed to be laughing at you." And I was like, "Oh." And then, the high school group that were kind of like, meh, were suddenly nice to me. And for a lot of reasons, I was like, oh, maybe I'll do this because people are nice to me and they laugh. Like, that was all I knew at the beginning. And yeah, I'm happiest when I'm doing theater. I love television and film and voiceover, but I kill to do theater. It just wakes me up from a sleep I didn't even know I'm in, especially after the pandemic. It's such a gift to be able to do it.
Well, when you came to New York as a young Vicki Lewis,
Did I go? No, there I go. Sorry.
No worries. When you came to New York as a young Vicki Lewis, you made your Broadway debut, and you've done multiple. I mean, I showed that clip of Damn Yankees because I was 11 years old. And
you were 11?
I was 11, 1994. I was 11 years old.
So cute.
I fell in love. My school did Wizard of Oz, and I was the Tin Man. And I told my parents I don't want to do anything but sing and act. And they took me for my birthday to see Damn Yankees, and it was you. So it takes me right back to that kid. So when you came to New York and started your Broadway career, and through the years, you've done a wide range of shows from Anastasia and now this to Damn Yankees to Get It For You Wholesale and playing Miss Marmalstein and Chicago and The Crucible. I mean, it's not all just fun, and like you're dancing and singing and acting through these years. Yeah. What do you say is to people who either criticize? I always ask this question. Musical theater sometimes gets a bad reputation because they think the acting comes last. What do you say to and I know I let somebody else sing, dance, do blocking and act and say it's easy. What is your advice to these young kids that are looking up there, that are in the audience, seeing you every single night in between the lines? What do you wish you knew when you started out?
I'll say one thing, and it's a little cliche, but it was said to me late in my life. I am enough. You are enough. If you want to do theater and television and film, that's wonderful. The best, I wish someone had said to me, stay grounded, find the people, find your friends, find things that fulfill you other than getting the theater job, because there are a lot of no's. And if you let it get under your skin, which of course it will devastate you. And I'm old enough to know that there are also people that think, if I just get a Broadway show, if I just get a TV series, then I'll be happy. I won't have to worry. I'll have money. And I got all that. And the lesson for me was, this didn't fix everything. And so I would just encourage people to kind of stay where your feet are, work on yourself, find things that will ground you, and that, are there when musical theater, when you get a no, and also know that winning means it's an inside job, and then also work on your craft, have fun, enjoy it, but it will destroy you if you let it,
That is, I'm going to take those words with me today, because I always say that I've learned that now, me and my partner are both artists. And it's like, when your hobby becomes your career, it's like, what do you do for you? Like, I don't want my whole life to just be work. I want a real life. I want a grounded, real life.
Yes. I'm glad you feel that way and that you see that.
It's people like you that lead the example and the lesson. So thank you. I'd be remiss to not bring up, some of your film and television and voiceover work. Of course, we all know you from many seasons here on Newsradio, what an ensemble, what a comedic ensemble.
That was a great group of people. A lot of them are missing now, which is sad. Or lost in other ways. No comment.
But I mean, your work on that and going back and watching some of the clips and talking about comedic timing. I mean, your timing and the delivery, that character is just a treasure trove of moments, of fun moments that you got to have. And then at 11 o'clock in New York City, and I know across the country, this show runs, and I'm sure at least once or twice a year, this moment is this Seinfeld. The secretary episode will live in infamy forever. Those residuals
stop me more for that than anything. Isn't that funny? But it sticks out in people's mind. It was very funny, very goofy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, can you be any more genius in terms of the sitcom medium than you and Jason Alexander in that moment? God. Your chemistry together was so much fun.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of shows on here about voiceovers. I mean, we've had some good fun voiceover artists on before as well. We had Candy Milo, we had Rob Paulson.
I worked in Florida with Candy Milo. We did Disney World, and we stayed in this horrible apartment because that's where they put you when you're young and you think it's great anyway. And we would sit out at the pool, and oh my God, I love Candy.
Yeah, and she was on and talked about all of that, and we had Rob Paulson of Animaniacs and all that on. What brought you to voiceover, besides how amazing your voice is, just so versatile?
I was doing Newsradio, and I had auditioned for A Bug's Life, and I was there with Dave Foley and Andy Dick, and then Dave booked it, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then years later, I got an offer, just an offer, to do Finding Nemo, and I was like, of course I'll do it. They had saved my voice because they liked it from A Bug's Life, and they hung on to it until they found what they thought was a perfect match. And so Finding Nemo it was, and they flew me up to Pixar, and I felt like I was in a dream. And people ask, like, I did that I was there for 4 hours alone, and then the movie opened. So I met the other cast members on the carpet.
Well, if you didn't know, but I'm sure you and your children have watched it over and over again. That's Deb and her sister Flo, and that voice in the glass of the tank. that's all right here. So it's so funny. It's such a funny, great comedic part of the film. And It was also so great to see you back on the boards before the pandemic in Anastasia, which is a clip of that.
I was so grateful to get that. My husband said to me, honey, it's time for you to go back to New York. You're not as happy as you could be. And I was doing my thing. I was teaching at USC, and he goes, you got to get out of here. And I was like, you're right. Not the marriage, of course. I don't think that's what he meant. And so then like a few days later, I got the audition for Anastasia, and I put it on film. And then a few days after that, they flew me in, and I got that job. And I was just like, okay. And I was so happy. I was there for a year, and then I did a couple unique like labs and things. And then, of course, Between the Lines. But now I'm back and I'm doing this.
And now you're back and you're doing this. And this show is running. It's into New York right now. Everyone, you can go see Between the Lines. It's a new musical. It has Vicki Lewis. It has the gorgeous and stunning Ariel Jacobs, Julia Murney, everybody, that cast from top to bottom, from the costumes, the lights, the music, the sound, the story. It's going to enchant you and take you in for a beautiful evening of the theater, for sure. Vicki, if we want to know more about you, you can follow Vicki at Vicki Lewis 1 on Instagram, or you could go to VickiLewis.com. And if you would like to hear her voice before you come, you know, she has music out. She has an album out.
Now, God love you. That is an album I wrote when I was having a psychic break, I think. So it's a bit depressing. Oh, no. Did you really like some of it?
I did. Well, are the times I love a nice, sad moment where
Well, that's what I was doing. So if you're into that.
Well, you can listen to it. You can listen to she's a holiday album out coming up. So everyone stay on top of the Vicki Lewis experience. And make sure if you're in New York this anytime soon, catch Between the Lines. Go to BetweenTheLinesMusical.com.
We're there till October 2nd. So yeah, that's
a moment. You guys are here. So even in the fall.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Plan your trip, come to New York, and make sure you stop by and see Between the Lines.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Your show is really cool. I love your show, and I love that it's doing so well. My God.
Oh,
That's amazing.
It's thanks to people like you that come on and spend time with us and just share your light and love. And I'm so grateful to have a platform to talk to someone like you. It means a lot.
Thank you. It means a lot to me too. Let's chat again sometime, even if
That's
it's
the deal.
Coffee or something. But right now you're in the middle of nowhere. So do you live in New York?
I live in New York. My partner's in LA.
Okay.
So I bounce. I know you've worked with Michael Orland, and I've worked with Michael Orland in LA as well. So I'm just gonna stalk you now, Vicki. And
I would love it. Please, let's chat and have a cup of coffee.
Deal. It'd be my honor. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Unmute myself. Maybe I should unmute myself. How sweet and wonderful is she? Is she not a breath of sunshine? She's a superstar. She's literally a superstar in terms of comedic work. And she could sing. She could sing. Yes, Christine, Vicki had quite the career, so multi-talented and fun, such a fantastic actress and singer. Exactly, Christine, my roundtabler friend. She's wonderful. So thank you for that. Yes, it's awesome. What an awesome show, right? Nina West, pretty awesome. Andrew Levitt. Vicki Lewis, pretty awesome. Every one of you, pretty awesome. If you're in New Jersey, come see me on Saturday. If you're going to be here next Thursday, all the young people, all of Abby's friends who are young, do you have TikTok? I don't love it, but I did do my TikTok video and it got a lot of views. The one that you all liked, she does. She's great. With the Kenny Loggins story. Well, next week I'm going to learn how to do TikTok from two people who are killing it on TikTok and on YouTube. Funky Geneva, he's here. Quentin Latham. He's got a new show coming on television in the fall called TGIF, TEAGIF. He does it with Claudia Jordan and Al Reynolds. It's on Fox Soul. He's going to be here to tell us how he created a character and quit his job as an accountant to make it as a YouTuber. Wait till you hear that. Plus, Tony Talks is here. I've been obsessed with Tony Talks. He's ridiculous. He's funny. He's outlandish. Do you want to know the story behind your favorite YouTube and TikTok sensation? How did it start? How did it blow up? What's happening? Next week, Tony Talks and Funky Geneva are here. The week after that is a show about my favorite summer binge watch shows, Queer as Folk and Love Simon, Victor. Love Victor. Yeah, Love Victor. Anthony Keystone, who plays Raheem, is going to be here. And then also we're going to have a great conversation with some of the cast of Queer as Folk. So I hope to join me then. It was great to see you, Janelle. It's great to see you all. It's nice to be here. It's been an ominous, weird, crazy couple of weeks, but we're alive and well. Dad, I hope you're feeling better. Everybody else who's watching, big shout out to my mom and my brother who take care of everything. And someone said to me, how do you do it? How do you do the shows and this show and teach and do concerts and whatever? I have a lot of help. I have a lot of love in my life and a lot of people who, from my management team to the people who help do my PR to the people who help in my life, in my real life. Can't do it without them. Good night, everybody. Love one another. I'll see you all next week on Thursday. Bye, everyone.